Alright, so in this video, I'll be showing you guys how to make the best possible defense for any layout that you may or may not have in King of Thieves. So, just as a disclaimer, you have to realize that it is impossible to make like a solid 100% unbreakable defense. Like, obviously, if that was the case, then how, it wouldn't really be fair for specific players to just break into your defense if it's just all godly and there's like no way to get to your gems. So, unless you're a developer or a hacker, then there's no way that you will always have a 100% protected base. The best that you can do, though, is to ensure that people do not steal your gems. For example, these are just some raids of some people that attacked me, unless you're this guy who got the perfect 3-star, but he actually knew the strategy. So for example, let's just look at these defense replays. So obviously this layout may not be the same as yours, but I'm just going to use this as an example. So the whole point of making a good defense is that you have to make it really like difficult, but at the same time, of course, when you're making it, you have to be able to beat it yourself twice. So this is kind of the defense layout that I'm using. Let me show you guys how I would beat it. So it might take a few tries, like it's almost impossible to get it to defeat a defense like on the very first try. Like you need some practice, of course. So typically for my base, the only real trick that I can give you to actually, beat it is all about the timing. Even at the very end, you have to be very careful. So let me show you guys a very, I guess a decent example of how to make a good defense. And for this example, I'll be using these traps as well as this layout. So obviously, let me just show you guys something else just before we move on. Every layout has a different, it looks different. Plus you have different defenses, so you will never have the same defenses in every single place. So I do apologize if, the base that I'm using isn't yours, or the traps that I'm using isn't yours either, but it's just the concept that really matters, not so much, I could have any layout or any defenses, but the way that you would make this would stay the same. So first of all, you always want to kind of use your defenses as they are. So for example, if you have a fly is the, or a bird or whatever, I'm not really sure what it is exactly. It looks kind of like a fly to me, like a fruit fly. But the first main thing is you have to understand what defenses you even have first, or sorry, traps. So the fly is typically good for chasing people. It's going to stop them from, just either camping, like trying to figure out how they're going to do their next move. So it always keeps them on the run. Now, typically the fly, you don't get this till later on in the game, but it's a pretty good defense and probably one of my favorite ones. The next one right here, for example, is, again, these are just some random traps, but I will talk about other traps that I don't have in this case. So we actually have two variations of cannons. This one is like the heat-seeking kind of cannon where the cannon shots, well, the cannons themselves won't follow you, but the cannon will position itself, will always point towards you and try to shoot you wherever you're moving. So you can use that. It's better than the regular cannon where it's just stuck in one spot, one direction. However, even though it's stuck in one direction, you can make like a continuous flow. If you put it down like at the end of a hallway, for example, then it makes it a lot harder to, just a better defense. Then the next one we have here is I want to call it, what's this thing officially called? Let me just read it. This thing is called the red guard. So the red guard can move from side to side or up and down. And typically he's kind of used as almost like a wall kind of thing, like a barrier that tries to kind of block the path of the player trying to pass it, is essentially what it is. Plus it's probably the second or even the first biggest obstacle that you have to face. So the next one that we have here is this blue thing. Not really sure what it's called. Essentially, it kind of acts like the red guard, except it moves in a circular motion. So it's a little bit more trickier that way. Not really sure how it works because I haven't actually gotten it yet. And the very last and most basic trap is just the. Let me see if I can actually find it for you guys, just so that you can see what I'm talking about. So yeah, there's the cannon right there. As you can see, it shoots forward, since it's stuck in that direction, and That's not it. Yes, and then the spike is the very last one. So the spike is just basically your full-on wall. Wherever you put it, if you touch it, you basically die. So you can use it in a lot of variations. But yeah, so as long as you understand the concepts of how the traps work, then you can make your defense shine. So let's just ignore all these random defenses here. Let's just focus on the layout. The most important thing is that you always want to make sure that the player is trying to use as much of the layout as possible. Now, you don't always have to use the full layout, keep that in mind. Like, I could put the store here and then they have to go all the way around, but for my defense in particular, I'm actually only going to use these, gonna position the door this way. So without the defenses, it's pretty easy to get to my defense, or is it? Let me just try this out. Actually, not necessarily, because if I put the door way over there, for example, I'm pretty much forcing my guy to walk all the way over here, and you can see the cannon still shooting me, by the way. But, the number one thing is that it's all about where you position the door. It's all about where your person is, the player's going to start. So in this case, my person's going to be pretty much forced to, like, my person can't get to the gold stuff right there no matter what. Like, no matter what you do, even if you wait down here all the way, there's just no way that you can do this. Even if you do different timing, and like there's really nothing that you can do to even pass this little hole right here. So make sure that you use your layout the best as possible. I like to just put all the defenses away for like first of all, and then when I'm ready to, like when I think that it's, a good setup, then I actually start building upon with my defenses. So let's just put the fly, say, right here. Now, usually you want to put your defenses, like this might go against your standards, but I typically like to put my defenses very close to the door. For example, let's just put the fly right about here. So it's very important where you actually place your traps, because it kind of causes the player to have to do specific, I guess, parkour skills to avoid them. So the fly, as you can see, it's just following me, and if I put it right there, it really kind of puts the pressure on when, in terms of, you have to click a lot faster. You can't just sit there and wait, because it's going to get you. Now, sorry about the weird voice crack there. Now, let's go look at the red guard. So, I guess, for the red guard, again, you can go up or down or left or right. I think I'll just do left or right for this example right here. So, for example, if I did this, obviously I have to move in a certain way just to avoid them. So, you just want to make sure that for any trap, you have to, kind of use their abilities as well, just well enough so that you can get to your chest like so. And then the cannon, just, I don't know, put it like right here. Well, actually, no, the cannon, this particular cannon, since it can shoot in any direction, it's probably recommended, I would definitely recommend putting it in a spot where it could fire in at least four directions, down, up, left, and right. Diagonals would be great as well. So as you can see, it's just like, it just uses its full ability to its full potential. So as you can see, it's just hitting the wall so nothing's happening. But in cases like this, it can get you pretty badly. Now it's all just about putting them all together. So all the traps together, they can create their own little, everyone has their own preference on what kind of defense they want to make. So always try to make, like, my number one tip for any defense is that never make such a simple defense. You always want to push it to the limits. Try to make a defense that you can almost not beat. So don't make a defense that you can't beat, but make a defense that, I guess, takes you a good half hour to beat it on the first try. So it might be painful at first, but if you guys really want a powerful, really solid defense that is going to help decrease the chance of people stealing your gems, then I would definitely go through the trouble of, spending a lot of time making the perfect base. So this is the example that I'm going to use. So I'm going to put the cannon very close to the person, maybe not that close, maybe just about here, and the fly would probably go right here. So let's see what I can muster up right here. So right there, the timing is pretty simple, but if I wanted to change that, let's just say I inverted the defenses like this. So now I can't use the same trick that I used last time where I just wait them out and then do the single jump. Well, you can still do it, it's just a different variation, but as you can see, I just did a very little minor change, and it actually changed the way I had to time my, jumping skills and stuff like that. So, you can kind of play around with it. You don't have to do some crazy things like putting defenses way spread out. You can just do very minor movements, just like, they don't have to be this close either. They can kind of just test out what you think is very effective. You want to make sure that you're blocking every possible escape, every chance that you can get to, like this kind of stuff, for example. If I put the cannon right there, obviously I'm now blocking this path, so I can't just jump down. So I am making it harder, but I have to keep in mind that I have to make it possible. So if I can't pass this, like period, then obviously I have to change the defense right here, because if the fly's right here and the cannon is shooting in this particular spot right there, it's very, unless I do this, unless I kind of, let's see if I can do some parkour skills for you guys. Nope, no matter what, I'm pretty much like a dead man right there, so it seems a little bit too difficult. But let's see, so I'll show you guys the cons of spreading out defenses way too much. So if you put let's just do this, for example. They're relatively spread out, are they not? So I feel that when you spread out the defenses more, you're not really, it's just making it that much easier for the other player to decide on what to do if you just spread them out way too much. So I highly do not recommend, unless, well, it kind of just depends on the layout, really. So, if you're having an easy time passing through your defense, if you spread out your defenses so much, then I recommend then just clustering them up so that it's just a little bit harder for the other, for the opponent to really do anything. I never recommend putting the traps extremely close to the door like this, because obviously, well, unless you want it to do, I guess that's fine. So really, it doesn't really matter where you put the traps, you just have to remember it's all about the timing. The timing of the jumps. You can wait it out, the only reason, I guess to be good at this game, you need timing. You need to know when to jump. That's pretty much the biggest factor of this game. So, you can wait just a little, just a millisecond, and then you're going to be able to make that one impossible jump. So it's really important that place your traps in such a way where, for example, if I put it right here, I'm forcing the person to jump. So if the fly here was actually like a spike, for example, then you're basically forcing the player to do specific movements to make it a lot harder for them to decide what to do. And really, I can even do this if I really wanted to, just to make it extremely difficult. But again, you have to make it possible. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time and you're just going to make it really hard for yourself. So again, just spend a very long time making your perfect defense. Make sure that you can actually solve it twice. That's just the one issue. But if you can beat it once, and it takes you 30 minutes to really figure it out, then you're on the right track. If it takes you a second to beat your defense with almost no troubles at all, then you're not doing it right. You have to make it really hard on yourself, which seems counterproductive, but trust me, make a defense that you can almost not beat, and I guarantee that people who try your defense that you almost didn't beat will have a very hard time doing it as well. For example, you can tell that this guy took a lot of tries because the cannon is doing some work. The fly's already when you reach 0 stars, then some defenses will just go away. But you can see that he even used the gang up thing, and almost all of his guys just died without except that one guy right here. There's another example. So he also used the gang up. They all pretty much died, but this time the cannon's off, and you can see the fly just slowly but surely chasing them down. And yeah, but this guy just makes it right here. So you have to make a defense that really pushes it to the limit. And other than that, that's pretty much how you make it a good defense. Just be aware of how the traps work in general. Put them in such a way where you're pretty much forcing the players to do specific movements and timing. And overall, just make sure that it's possible. Again, no defense is perfect. There is always a solution to every single defense, I guarantee it. Unless you're a developer, then, that's a completely different story, but that's pretty much how you make a good defense, the best defense. So, if you guys want to join my guild, it's called Ezekiel's Guild. We got 3 members so far, and if you want to join it, just feel free to do so. Just search it on the top guilds. Should be there. Just make sure that you beat the Wooden League first. If you don't beat the Wooden League, then you cannot join guilds. That's the only side to that. But anyways, guys, hope you guys have enjoyed this video on how to make the best defense, and I'll see you guys in the next videos. Thanks for watching.